Hi guys, good afternoon. It is Mandy here. I just want to run through a couple of things, which is now it's Wednesday and we are due to open on Monday. So we've been quite busy. Obviously, the last couple of weeks we've been in the crash and it's had an absolute massive deep clean. All the rooms have been organised and all the pods. So we just want to touch base with you, and I feel that it's easier to do it through the video link like the last time. So we just want to start off then just to let you know that Andrea is the manager of the Oak Centre. She will be working alongside myself and Lisa up in the main creche. So we are merging the two premises together for the summer. So the children from the Oak Centre will be up here in the main creche and they will be allocated a pod up here. So I will introduce Andrea near the end of the video link. She's actually here beside me taking some notes. So what we wanted to first start off, and we're just going to jump right in, guys, to the important stuff, just to let you know, first go off, starting off. So due to resources and the reduced numbers of children and staff, we have merged the Oak Centre and the creche together, and that is obviously to bring all our staff together to help us all. So we obviously have to have all our pods covered at any one time with the key workers in there. So it was easiest for us to bring them all together. So to do that then, obviously we have to appoint then extra staff. So we're going to need extra staff for our drop-off and collection points. And then we will need extra staff, obviously, for covering lunch breaks for the pods, and then if we have anyone on annual and sick leave. So having taken all that into consideration, we have therefore decided that we are going to have to reduce our opening hours, guys, going forward for the summer. So this is only for the summer, as you know, we are working on reduced numbers here. So what will be 8 to 5, which we had originally said would be for the first 3 weeks. So after taking all that into consideration, guys, of everything that we have to cover here, it's just not sufficient enough for us to continue with any more extra hours within the creche. An 8 to 5 is a standard staff shift. So, you know, for our own peace of mind and for the health and safety issues, that is what we have to do, and we just don't have any choice on that, guys. I'm sorry. But it will be 8 to 5, but that will be only up until the 27th of August, which is when the schools hopefully will be returning, and we will have them all our full staff back then as well, and we will assess the situation then in regards to pods and things like that. But going forward, our opening hours will be 8 to 5. So this is then to allow us then to essentially abide by the guidelines for health relating to health and safety for the children, our staff and our parents. It's to ensure that the pods are covered by their key worker at all times. This is the best solution, that the same person is in that same room with them children, and this is what we've been advised to go on guidelines. The only time another staff member will enter that pod is to cover a lunch break, and they will be the same staff members assigned to that pod each day, and we will have a log in and out system, which I've explained to you before in the last link. So then we have to ensure we have sufficient amount of staff to cover the collection drop-offs, annual and sick leave. Obviously then as well, our cleaning regime is going to be more intense than what it normally is. So this is to allow obviously that the clean and disinfectant of all rooms and areas after closing needs to be done. So this is another reason that we have taken into account with the 8 to 5 shifts. We are going to have staff that stay behind to do all this as well. So this is where we need the children going home at 5 o'clock, guys, and no later. Because of the fact that they are in different pods, we cannot put them into a different room with any other children or any other staff members. So if our staff are on an 8 to 5 shift, they need to go home at 5 o'clock. So we would please, you know, ask you to work with us on this. We hope you understand, we understand, that this may cause issues for some parents, but we were asking that you respect that our decision was made after a long, hard look on how we need to go forward running the creche. So that is the major thing, guys, that we need to pass on to you today. So I'll leave it at that, and I'm going to move on. So with our collection points, guys, we are going to have 4 different collection points. So we're going to have point 1 is going to be our front door. And that is going to be room 2, which will be Leah and Sonia's class. So you will come and go through that collection point, and there will be either myself or Andrea to take your children from there and bring them to the collection point and drop them off. Room 2 Collection point 2, is going to be down beside the butchers, so it'll be our side entrance, and that will be used by room 4, which will be our after school group. So all after school group will arrive and leave through our side door at the side of the butchers. Point 3 is going to be our back door, so that is going to be the baby room. So that's Tory. So your children are actually going to be going directly into their room, so they'll enter through the changing area and then brought into the main floor of the baby room. So you will get to see Tory every day, as she will be taking the children off you and handing them back over. And obviously social distance, guys, we are, I'll get to it further on, but social distance needs to happen amongst the staff. So that could be the allocated people that are there at your drop off and collection point. Fully understand babies, it's quite, difficult to social distance from, someone that's carrying a baby. If your child can walk up and down on the floor, let them come to us. A baby, if you can just try and stretch out as far as you can to hand the child over to try and keep social distance. There's no other way around that, guys. We have to take babies from you. So our collection point 4 is going to be our garden area. So we are going to have Sophie's room outside. So that's room 3. So Sophie's room, obviously weather permitted, they can come straight into the garden and have a little play out there as they arrive in the morning time. And we are going to have the garden divided off, where we are also going to take them in room 5, which will be Fiona's children. Now these are quite young, they will be the youngest children we have upstairs. They may get upset, so that's why we felt it was probably more appropriate to bring them in through the garden. They might get a little bit distracted. We can keep them out there for a little bit for an outdoor play before they actually come into the creche. If they are extremely upset outside, we will bring them in and bring them up into Fiona's room to her. So with the collections then, guys, we're asking if you give us a 5-minute warning. So you're going to need to phone the creche when you're on your way. This will be in the afternoon or the evening time when you're coming to pick the children up. If you could give us at least a 5-minute warning, so give the creche a call. We actually have our walkie-talkies here in the room as well, so we can radio through and let the person know in there that we don't enter any pods. The children is actually packed up and given out to us, and we will bring them to the collection point. So social distance of collection points as well. We need you to social distance away from other parents if you arrive at a collection point. If you arrive at the collection point and there's more than 2 children, I would suggest you refrain from going to that collection point until 1 or 2 of them parents move on, and just so we don't have any gatherings outside. So just be mindful of that, guys, when you come. So maybe stay in your car till the rest of them move on. And as I explained, social distance from staff where you can as well, unless they're the babies, obviously. So the parents are not permitted to enter the creche at the moment, as we've already explained that before, and I'm sure you fully understand why. So with the parents not permitted to enter the creche under extreme circumstances, and this will be if a child is absolutely inconsolable and very much so upset, we will make arrangements, for you to enter the creche, but it's not something that we really want to be doing, but we will do it in extreme cases. In this case, a parent is going to have to sanitize, they're going to have to wear a mask, and they're going to have to wear gloves entering into the creche. So just be mindful of that then, if that is something that you request to do. But as I said, it's only going to be a case-by-case basis, and it won't be everyone permitted into the creche unless it's an extreme circumstance. And we are asking then that your child's temperature is to be taken from home before you enter. So we originally thought that we had to take all the children's temperatures when they arrived. That has changed now, and we don't have to do that. But what we have been advised is to advise parents that you need to take your child's temperature before you leave your house in the morning. So obviously if your child has a temperature, you don't bring them in, and you inform us that they have a temperature. And the same with them washing hands. So you need to wash your hands before you leave your home in the morning. So that will be parents and children. And then they will obviously then be sanitizing and washing their hands again once they reach the creche. We'll only have one parent permitted to drop a child off and collect a child as well. So only one parent, please. No buggies. We can't have any buggies, guys, and this is actually going to be a thing going forward. They are a hazard. We don't have, places to be putting buggies. But under these circumstances, the buggies were stored in our garden, but obviously they can harbour any infections or germs on them, so they are no longer permitted. So if you do need to bring your child to creche in a buggy, you will need to take the buggy back home with you and bring it back then when you're picking them up in the evening time. younger children that would have suitors, you will need to send in a suitor and it needs to be kept here with your child's name on it. So it needs to be kept in the premises. So we can't have different suitors being sent in and out each day. You need to send one in and kept here and sterilised them when they need it. They're normally only used for sleep time, but obviously under these circumstances, if children are upset, we will commit to give them a suitor. The same will go for any comfort toys. So we have been told comfort toys can be brought in, but they need to be in like a sealed bag. So I have my little sealed bag here, which I'll show you about lunches as well. You would need to put your comfort toy in this with your child's name clearly labelled on it. It's only taken out for nap times or when they need it, and it cannot be touched by another child. So it will actually be put back in this for you then. So the children will not be bringing in school bags. So this is except from the baby room. So I'll get to the baby room. Upstairs, none of the children will be bringing in any school bags. So what we are asking you then is to send their lunch in a Ziploc bag. So this is a Ziploc bag. These can be bought everywhere in Aldi, Tesco's. You'll get these. So if you have your child's name clearly labelled on this, this is all your child will bring in most days. The first day we were asking for you to also send in a spare set of clothes in a bag like this. Spare set of clothes for your children, child's name on it. So these are the only two things they're bringing into us when they come back on their first day. So we won't be permitting any drinks, so there's no need for them to bring in any cups. So we will provide fluids for them throughout the day, which are always in the room, and they will have their own labelled cup in their own room. So you do not bring in any drinks with your child. That goes for all the children upstairs, regards the baby room. They will need clean clothes every day coming in, so we don't want any infections being carried from home. So, you know, clean clothes every single day when your child's coming in, they must be wearing clean clothes. All nappies and wipes, as we've checked at the moment, seem to be okay. So we will let you know when they do run out of any nappies and things like that. So don't worry about that for the first day. We've checked supplies and they seem to be okay for the children returning initially. And we will let you know as we go along for that. No toys from home, absolutely no toys from home. We cannot permit them unless, as I said, they are a comfort toy and the child genuinely needs it. The child can just not randomly bring in toys at home. They're not permitted. They will be taken off the child and given back to the parent. So to avoid any, frustration and meltdowns, I would advise not to bring any toys to the crash with you. So you will be asked 3 questions when you arrive every morning by your designated collection point person. So then 3 questions will be, has your child been ill, sick, or have diarrhea within the last 48 hours? Your second question will be, do they have a temperature? And your third question will be, have they had any medication? And you need to answer these honestly, guys, because this is our new protocol and it's what we need to follow. Anyone that is planning on going abroad, I'm not sure if anybody is, but we need to mention to you, as it stands right now, anyone that is heading abroad need to isolate for 14 days when they come back. So please be aware of that. If your child is going to be heading abroad, they won't be able to come in for 14 days as it stands right now. We will then, on any suspected cases, we have an isolation room which we have allocated to our shed outside. We just feel that it's the most appropriate place that the child would be taken actually out of the building. So in the event of we may have a suspected case, we will then, the child will be taken, assigned by our COVID manager out to the shed, and they will be in their PPE gear. So they will be wearing their gloves, their mask, things like that, and the child's parent will be phoned to come straight away. So the shed obviously it's also used as our sensory room outside. So we've been informed that an isolation room only becomes an isolation room when you have a suspected case. Please God, we will not. So we should be able to continue to use our shed as our sensory room, which is allocated in the garden. Temperatures, we had an issue and we had to look this up because we were unsure about this. If a child has a temperature, do we need to send them home? And the answer we've been giving is no, not essentially directly sent home. So what we do is we follow and monitor as per regulation, as we normally did, because we understand, children do have temperatures due to teething and things like that. So what we have been advised to do is follow our normal procedures and our regulations on that. and we will monitor the situation. But if a child then is shown another sign, or maybe 3 signs, that is associated with COVID, is when they're taken to the isolation room and they will be sent home. But just to rest assured that the temperatures will be monitored as normal as they normally are. Our cleaning then, so our hand sanitizers we have in all rooms. We have all new sinks in the rooms as well. So we have these new disinfectant sprays. So this is our new stuff that we have bought, and this is from a company called Hydrosol, and they have actually given us a certificate with this, and it has been proven to combat COVID. So this is the cleaning product we have been using within the creche. We have these are sprays that are used within the rooms for disinfecting all the toys. We also have then 5 litres, things of that as well, which is actually used through a mist machine. So the rooms will be misted at least once a week, or if they need to be at any time in between that as well. And it actually disinfects the room for 7 days. So this stuff is really, really highly recommended to us. So it is what we are going to be using going forward. So please rest assured that this is good, proper disinfectant stuff that we are using in here. So the first day back, as I've run through a couple already, is your lunch bag here. So you have your lunch bag with your child's snack in it. So again, then breakfast, dinner and tea is again supplied by the creche. Unless you're in the baby room, you bring your own food. So this bag will be your child's snack, no need for drinks, and on the first day, one of these bags with a spare set of clothes. If your child is a younger child and they need a soother, or a comfort toy, you are sending in the soother to be kept on the premises. If possible, your child has 2 or 3 comfort toys, possibly send us in one that we can keep here, rather than, having the risk there of infection being sent back and forward. If it's possible, send it in. If not, it's sealed in this bag and sent in to us every day. So soother to be kept here on the first day. 3 pictures. We will need 3 pictures of your child's face. And I will tell you why we need these. So we are going to have one placed on their chair. So everybody has their own individual chair and they're not mixing. Now, they're within the same pod, guys, but these are just extra precautions that we're taking here at Little Scholars. So we'll have a picture of the child's face on their chair. They're able to identify. This is good for, their identity and belonging also as well. And they will also have one at their place segment for their table. So they know where their chair and where they sit at the table every day when they come in. Then the third one is going to be used for what we call a visual plan. So there'll be a visual plan done up on the wall, and it'll have all the different areas and activities on it. And your child's face will be placed on an area that they're going to. So this is just for us to monitor areas that the children attend, but it's also then giving them a visual vision of what we're instructing them to do. So it's all about learning also. So 3 pictures as well. We will be also sending out then later on an email, and it will have a parental agreement on it. So it's going to be kind of the highlights of what I've just explained to you there. So you will need to sign this parental agreement, and it needs to be sent back in on the first day. And it will also need to be accompanied by what is going to be a child return form. So that is something that will need to be filled in for your child as well. So you will ask a number of questions on that. These items need to be brought in with us as well. So I'm just going to run through them again. Will be your lunch bag, your spare clothes with your lunch in a lunch bag, a soother to be kept here, or a comfort toy. We need 3 pictures of the children, and then we need your parental agreement form and your child return form. There will be no entry into the creche unless these are supplied. These are really important, guys, and we're starting off on the right foot. We need everything covered here. So you need to bring them forms in. If you don't have them, we won't be able to take the child in, unfortunately, and you will have to go home and get them. Where possible, we suggest that you gradually introduce the children back into the creche. So if this is possible, guys, and you're able to do this, if you're working from home, we are suggesting that maybe you reduce the children's hours for the first week or so, depending on how the child is getting on. So, our 3+ children, they've not been here for 3.5 months, so it's going to be quite difficult for them. We fully understand that. Children over the age of 3, they won't be as bad. They should remember who we are. So they should be okay, and we'll be able to talk to them and talk them around. We understand The smaller children are going to be a little bit more difficult, so we are suggesting that you possibly would be able to reduce their hours starting off like we would when we first start to introduce them into the creche. You're only bringing them in for a couple of hours and increasing as we go along. So we would really suggest that, guys, especially for the younger children. We have got clear screens shields for our staff members. We have chosen that we won't be wearing these for the first day or two, just because of the children coming back in. We want everything to be as normal as possible as we can for them, and then we will start introducing the screens then as an extra safety measure. They are not essential for us to wear them, but it's a measure we have brought in. We will send you a video on Friday. So the creche is almost ready. It's looking brilliant now. I have to say, the girls have done a great job in here the last 2 weeks. So we are going to give you a little tour, a video tour of the creche, and that will be nice then for your children to view also as well, and get them excited for coming back to us on Monday. Our communication will continue through duplicate books. So this is what we're going to be using, guys. We're not going to have any copies anymore, obviously, for cross-contamination. This is like a duplicate book, so it's kind of like a receipt book. So we will have a copy here, we will keep, and this is what will be put in your child's lunch bag when they're going home. So it's a communication copy that what we used to use, we're going to use these now as well. So if you need to pass on any information and you feel you may forget when you get to your collection point, pop a little letter and put it into the lunch bags if you want to pass it on to the key worker. So, as I said, communication will continue through the duplicate books, not copies, as always through email. And our WhatsApp groups, we really feel the WhatsApp groups were great over the time that we've been at home, and it was a great way to communicate with the teachers and the children, and now we feel we can use it to our advantage and flip it the opposite way around, where we can communicate with your child to you through the WhatsApp groups. So we really feel that that is going to be a great way, guys, as you're not coming into the creche, we can send these through WhatsApp to keep you all in the loop of what the children are doing when they're here with us. If you want to directly speak to your child's key worker, so it is going to be appointed staff to the allocation points and collection points when your child's coming in. If you really do want to speak face to face with your child's key worker, we can arrange that. So you can just let us know if you want that. And if you want to request a call, so if you want me to give you a call or any time between now or Friday or Andrea, if you just send us an email and we will give you a buzz if anyone has any more questions related to this. As I said, we are going to pop out an email now with a few highlights of this video link. And we're looking forward to seeing you all coming back on Monday. So I'm just going to pop Andrea over now, just so a lot of people may not know Andrea. As I said, she is the manager down at the Oak Centre, which is our ECC group and after school.
Hi everybody.
So this is Andrea. So when I'm not here, it'll be either Andrea or Lisa that will be filling in for me. So she will be doing communication through email also, like I do as well. And she'll be on my collection point when I'm not there. So you will get to meet Andrea over the next week or so. We'll introduce her to you. So as I said, if you need any more questions or you want to request a call, just give us an email and we will give you a call as well. I think Lisa wants to just pop in there as well.
Hi everybody. We'd just like to say thanks to all the mums and dads for taking this to come back and feel confident to come back into Little Scholars. We have done tremendous work. There's a huge difference. We're happy to be opening up on Monday. We're looking forward to seeing our children, and again, thank you very much for coming back and
for your support,
and knowing that we are going to do the best for our children coming back. So we'll see you all then, and
if anyone has any questions, give us a shout, but rest assured guys, we are ready and we will be open on Monday. See you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.